Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. The Gen 12 renderer and Vulkan are incredibly important to making Star Citizen a future-proofed next-gen game and a massive scale that looks fantastic. This video summarises the recent engine and graphics Q&A that Cloud Imperium did, as well as looks at some dev responses on ship balance, so let's jump in with the engine and graphics Q&A. What's the difference between Gen 12 and Vulkan? Gen 12 is an upgrade to the rendering code for the game. This will make the code more efficient, allowing for everything to look better and more things to be supported. Vulkan is what they are moving to from DirectX for the underlying graphics API. This gives better performance and hardware scaling. The additional features that Gen 12 provides might require various optimizations. Some will lose performance but increase visual fidelity. They will know more after it's further built out and implemented. Will older GPUs see performance gains after Gen 12 and Vulkan integration? One of the goals of Gen 12 is to utilise CPU cores more efficiently. However, in the case of older GPUs, you're likely to be bottlenecked by the GPU. Vulkan might bring some benefits though. They hadn't expected any improvements in 3.17 with the sort of Gen 12 updates, but it appears some people have seen performance improvements and some have seen performance go down. So the render thread with Gen 12 at the moment is apparently twice as fast roughly, but if you're not limited by that, then you're not going to notice it. And a lot of people are going to be limited by their GPU. And because of some of the updates they've made here, and some of the improvements to fidelity, and there's just generally more features and more going on, you're going to notice a bit of a performance downgrade. The work they're doing with the Gen 12 renderer and Vulkan is for future-proofing, and will require lots of optimization in the future. They're still pushing out all the legacy code. In the future, you'll have graphics options, and the scalability and sort of improvements that Gen 12 and Vulkan have provided should be fantastic. Linux support after Vulkan integration, is this still planned? So they're potentially going to be porting Star Citizen over to Linux for sort of native Linux support after Vulkan integration, but you can bodge Star Citizen to work on Linux even now, and when they have Vulkan, this is going to work even better, even without native support. How is the graphics system going to allow for huge fleet battles? Large fleet battles are mostly going to be CPU bound currently, and sort of performance-wise, so this will improve a lot in the near future. There's an amount of sort of AI and physics going on as well that does need to be considered. The interiors of spaceships can cause a lot of performance issues with ships that have large amounts of glass or have large interiors that are partially exposed. They're going to be approximating these interiors, it sounds like, as part of various levels of detail that they've got planned. It sounds like it will take, in a lot of cases, the form of a new window shader that will also be used to give buildings a 3D look and feel, so like be able to see inside them. They are experimenting with this currently, but this is a very resource efficient way of making stuff look real and living and breathing, but without actually having to do stuff that destroys performance. Will ship lights cast shadows eventually? They need to work out how to add it without causing too much performance drain. When many characters and ships are together, that could be madness. Exterior cameras for ships, are they a plan? Ali Brown wants to implement a low-res or wireframe camera for use for outside the ship, landing, that sort of stuff, but we'll know more in the future. There was then lots of other little takeaways from this Q&A, which I'll go through now. They're working towards some milestones in the Gen 12 renderer at the moment. Transparent rendering is the biggest one. Then the others are things like compute paths and skinning. Once they're done, they'll have Gen 12 complete, though you can expect some iteration and optimization after they've sort of integrated it. Then Vulkan will be coming along soon after that, as they've been working on that in parallel. Other than that, various shaders need work to sort of bring them up to visual quality and standard. DLSS or FSR or some other equivalent of getting high performance at high sort of resolution, or faking the resolution, having it sort of upscaled and downscaled and all that sort of jazz. That should be implemented after Gen 12 and Vulkan have been integrated. They'll use something to improve the game visually and performance-wise. They might do night vision also in the future, but they haven't planned that out yet. Star Citizen will more appropriately use VRAM on GPUs in the future as well. There will be various graphics options that they will expose to the player, and that they can then choose what to do with their VRAM and their sort of system resources. They might implement things like ray tracing as well that will suck up a lot of resources. There are plans to reduce the size of the build as well, this actual physical Star Citizen download, I suppose, to save on bandwidth. It's likely that we're going to see pop-in improvements after Gen 12 and Vulkan integration as well, because obviously pop-in does break sort of this suspension of disbelief when you're playing a game. They have plans for extreme mods for like massive forests, for example, and plan to update this in the future. I have also realised that I didn't do a summary of the previous week's Star Citizen Live Game Dev Ruins of Home, which I'll very briefly summarise here. They looked at building some derelict outposts, ones that will sort of like appear at Pyro and around that area, so they sort of have a brief and they take inspiration from style guides, and in this case brought in some pre-made assets. The artist used Blender to build out a lot of the scene and then exported it, and we know that things like the Mighty Bridge tool will allow artists working at Clan Imperium and on Star Citizen to work in whatever sort of medium they want, and then import that or easily bring that over to the in-game editor or basically work on it very, very efficiently without much in the way of downtime. There are also around 47 employees at the Turbulent-headed Montreal studio. Right, let's have a look at some of this dev response stuff. It's time to scale back some of the nerfs to the Ares, was a thread that I was reading on Spectrum. So basically, the nerfs I'm talking about are the shot speed and lack of aim assist. That was how you could boil down the original poster's thread. YogiClat responded, plans for the Ares haven't changed. We're still iterating, but didn't progress as much as we wanted to. Specifically for the Ion, we tried out charge mechanics in different variants of 3.17, but we did not get to the point where we felt it was good enough to be shipped. One element that is missing here is UI feedback, specifically for slow firing guns. You need some feedback when the next shot is ready, but fetching that info from the weapon is not that easy and requires a bit more coding, which competes against other higher priority tasks. Concerning the aim assist of the Ares, we are considering bringing some of it back, but we will not do this until we've run enough balance tests to be confident that it doesn't hurt a balance as it did in the initial 3.15 release. The Ares was way too effective against small agile targets, which is not what she was built for. Tweaking aim assist numbers is not hard. The CLs have been ready for quite a while now, but finding the time to run isolated tests have been a bit problematic in the last months for multiple reasons. Among those, a bit of team shuffling, which in turn affected work schedules and priorities. Our current development priority is rather on overall combat development that benefits the whole game. We'll slot in more work for the Ares and other weapon systems like the Singes when we get a chance, but it wouldn't be appropriate to promise release dates. But don't expect the changes to be in the 3.17 cycle. There was a follow-up question asking Clan Imperium to stop nerfing things to keep the Gladius as the top ship. It shouldn't be. It should be an MMO. There should be lots of different styles of ships for lots of different reasons. This is me very much steel-manning this gentleman's question or his follow-up, because he said, I think a lot of people are still annoyed about the Ares both getting nerfed because Arena Commander Sweaties cried that their Gladius could die if they didn't evade enough. Please, for the love of space, stop nerfing everything to keep the Gladius as top dog. This is an MMO with multi-crew and org gameplay balanced to suit this, not to suit esports wannabe light fighter only Sweaties. YogiClat again responded, we do not look at isolated game-specific modes for balancing. The Ares was rebalanced because it was an offender in both Arena Commander and the Persistent Universe, and it was clearly visible in both game analytics and player feedback. Sometimes rebalancing will be done in small steps, sometimes in larger steps, as much as we playtest internally. Actual playing with the ships in the community often produces different balance results. That is why we go through the ETF, Evocati test flight, and the PTU phases. However, they don't always catch those issues. None of the ships is in a final tuning state, and certainly not when they are released to the public for the first time. Doing post-release changes has nothing to do with intentional nerfing. Those are just necessary adjustments after seeing the ship perform with real players. We're not secretive about that process and don't have hidden agendas. Star Citizen is in early access. Pretty much everything is still up for change. I really like the fact that YogiClat took the time to answer that question with a very reasonable answer. YogiClat went on to say, the goal is not to have any meta fighters. As always, we want each ship to have a proper purpose, and with them being good and bad at different things. We're not there yet, but that's the goal. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen updates and summaries this time. But what do you think? Are you looking forward to Gen 12 renderer stuff and Vulkan being integrated into the game more and more in 3.17, 3.18, and maybe almost entirely done by the end of the year? I noticed that they didn't address any VR questions in the QA. Is that a sign that previous hype might be misplaced? What do you think of Clan Imperium's style of ship balancing for Star Citizen at the moment? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I saw NordVPN once. I was in a forest, late at night. I'd got lost, and then I heard it, an unearthly sound as if the wind was talking to me. NordVPN.com/BoardGamer. Then I saw him run at me. He was so free, almost as if he could be anywhere in the world. America, France, Australia. He was so secure, protected in layers of encryption that I could not even fathom. So majestic. Well, I heard that NordVPN was as big as a bear and could kick your head off. I've also heard that, which is why, just in case, I go to nordvpn.com/BoardGamer to appease the beast. You can find links to that down below. If you're looking for a new god, why not try NordVPN? Every month we have a ship giveaway. This time for May, to celebrate Star Citizen Alpha 3.17's release, we're giving away 3 prizes to 3 separate winners. An Origin 100i luxury starter ship, a consolidated Outland Nomad versatile freighter, and an Aegis Avenger Titan multi-role ship. They all come with lifetime insurance and access to play Star Citizen. To be in for a chance of winning one of those 3 prizes, just comment on any of my videos made during May. More details in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone that watches, shares, comments, and likes my videos. It really does help the channel grow. Be sure to subscribe for more content. If you would like to go to the extra mile in supporting the channel, there is Patreon links below. There's a join button under my videos as well on YouTube that makes you a highly elite channel member with some extra perks and exclusive content. There's also the thanks button, which straight up gives us money, and you can leave a highlighted comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great May 2022.